Hi everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of the Knack Chat Knitting Podcast. My name is Zach Anderson. A little bit about myself. I am a 21-year-old college student. I go to the Turbo University in La Crosse, Wisconsin. I study vocal performance, and I'm getting a minor in dance as well. I am currently at home right now on the last half of my winter break. I'm home in Hastings, Minnesota, and I'm going to be heading back to school in the next 2 weeks. So probably in the next podcast, you guys will see my dorm, my apartment on campus, and yeah, if you guys want to see another episode, then you'll for sure see me in my dorm. I will not be home unless I get sent home, but who knows? Who knows what 2021 will bring, and I hope that this journey and this podcast is good for everybody. So let's just get right on into the knitting. A little bit about my knitting background. I first learned how to knit about 5 years ago when I was in high school. I was a sophomore. And me and my now little brother's girlfriend went to a knitting club in my high school, and the teacher that was sponsoring that club taught kids how to knit, introduced them to Ravelry and all that stuff. So I picked up some needles and some yarn, and I knit for a little bit. I didn't get much into it. I didn't get much into Ravelry at all. So then during high school, I didn't really take much into it. But then after graduating high school, about 2 years ago, I graduated from high school almost 3 years ago now, but so 2 years ago, I think it was my freshman year, like right at the start of my freshman year, a yarn shop opened in my hometown in Hastings. That yarn shop is Muse 2320 Fiber Co. You will hear me talking about that yarn shop probably every episode, because I have too many objects with yarn from that store, because the owner, Sarah, dyes her own yarn in-house, and it's a brick and mortar shop, small business that I actually work for. So it's super fun to be able to support her, and even getting her yarn out there in the world with this podcast. So I'm super excited to be doing that. I'm not sponsored at all by Sarah. She's not forcing me to do this, but I really just love her yarn. I think you guys should check her out. I'll have her info and all the other info in the description below in show notes. So I've been working there for about 2 years, and it's freaking amazing. I love everything that I do. So let's start off this podcast with what I'm wearing. I am wearing the Bubble Sweater by Stephen West. So it's a DK weight sweater, and I knit it out of Barocco Ultra Wool DK, and out of Sarah's hand-dyed DK base, which is called Sparrow, in the Leica colorway. It's like a green, and there you can see there's like some really pretty like tonally browns in it. It's really soft, and if you look on my Ravelry projects, I call it my Bubble Bee sweater. So you'll see that there if you look in my projects. I have some notes on that if you want to check out what adaptations I made to the pattern. First, you're gonna see this beauty back here. Most people probably recognize this, but this is the Slipstravaganza Mystery Knit Along shawl that Stephen West did in October or November. I don't remember, but I saw that Stephen West was doing a Mystery Knit Along, and I remember I heard about Stephen West when I first started knitting, and I think I got really into it right after his Starflake shawl Mystery Knit Along. So the pattern was already released, and I had bought it, but I haven't knit the pattern yet. We'll see something similar though later in my whips. And I was like, Mr. Randalong, Stephen West, yes, of course I will do it. So all of this yarn is Sarah's hand-dyed yarn. This is her fingering 100% superwash merino 4-ply. This is Crane Wife. So the main color, so the gray, is cast iron. And then in this top section, the contrast color 3 is the variegated, which is Muddy Waters. And my contrast color 1 is the pink color, that is Swedish Lilac. And then my contrast color 2 is this really bright honeycomb colorway of hers that I absolutely adore. And then in this middle section here, I had some leftover rosin in her Surrey base that I just held together with my honeycomb. And I'm happy that I finished it. I really enjoyed knitting it, and I really enjoyed the mystery aspect that he had with this shawl. But going through it, I think probably getting to about the end of the second clue or the third section, I really wasn't happy with what I was doing. I wasn't happy with the color choices I made. I love all the colors, but I wish I would have done them differently. I wish I would have done the orange, the honeycomb as my contrast color 1, and then done the pink as my main contrast color, just because the amount of contrast that I have in this top section really throws me off, and it's not something I'm totally drawn to, but I'm happy I finished it. Because when I had gotten to the end, I was like, I'm not knitting these chevrons. So I had knit the first chevron, and then I cast it all off. And then I saw Ray and Kevin's shawls that they made. And I was like, okay, so I have to cast this back on, and I have to do the other 2 chevrons at least. I have to at least make the small border. I can't even make the extra tiny border. I have to at least make the small border, and then I'll be happy. And I was. I have blocked this, but I didn't block it fully. But I also don't mind it not, like, being kind of loose. I don't know. Maybe another time I'll reblock this, or I'll do it. Or maybe I'll do this shawl again, and I'll block it to be very pointy. But I'm not too picky with how it fits. It's really flowy. It's really light. It's actually really warm, and I really am happy that I did this shawl. So that was one of my finished objects from 2020. It's probably my second favorite finished object from 2020, to be completely honest. I'll show you my favorite in a bit. So, if you can't see behind me, there's another shawl that I finished this year. This is also by Stephen West. This is the Bubble and Brioche shawl. And I test knit this for Stephen West, actually. So this was knit out of, my, the black and gray are both West Wool bicycle. So it's the fingering weight. That's the Stephen West brand wool. I got it because as a test knitter, I get given a code for a discount for stuff in their shop. And I was like, okay, sure. And I really wanted to buy some of his yarn to try out. So I was going to get the yarn that he used exactly for his, but they didn't have any of the white in stock. So I got, so the gray is Dutch Sky, and then the black is Copenhagen. And then I did, all of my bubbles are, again, Muse. So again, it's all of Sarah's hand-dyeds in all of her fingering weight bases that she offers. So you can see there's some slubs, there's a single ply in there, there's a sparkles, and then there's a 2-ply fingering sock, there's a 4-ply sock, and there's a 4-ply 100% merino as well. So I just really thought it would be nice to showcase all of Sarah's yarn bases in this shawl. And I kind of alternated different color choices for each section, like different color orders for each of the bubble sections, which I really enjoyed. And it was super fun to knit. And I had also taught myself how to brioche knit in quarantine, so I was like, this is a perfect shawl to do it in, and I'm really hoping to do more brioche in 2021, so we'll see what happens. So my next finished object from 2021 is these cable mittens. These cable mittens, oh gosh, I'm not gonna be able to say this. Sundiyama Mittens by Anna Lavanienini. Yeah, the stuff is right here, the information. So these are super simple cable mitten that I knit. It was super fun. It was my first time doing cables. I knit this out of Kelborn Woolen Lucky Tweed in color number 58, which is just their light gray tweed. And I bought this yarn from knitting from the heart in Woodbury, Minnesota. So it's another yarn shop that's close to me that I frequent pretty often. I think I may have done one too many cable repeats, so my cuff is a bit long, or like it goes on my arm longer than I think it should. I am making this mitten again for my brother's girlfriend, so I will probably do it correctly this next time. So this was a super fun project to knit, and these gloves are super warm, and they're super fun to have this winter, so I'm really happy with these gloves. My next finished object is a pair of socks. This is actually my first pair of self-striping socks that I ever knit. So the self-striping yarn is Nomadic yarns, Tweedy sock base in the colorway Green Thumb. I really fell in love with this color when I saw it on her Etsy shop, and I saw that she had a tweed base offered, and I said, tweed and this colorway, yes please, and I'm absolutely right. Sorry if you can see the dog and animal hair that's in this, but yeah, but this was super fun. I had gotten this because I had gotten an advent sock for myself for Christmas, because I didn't want to pay the money for an advent calendar because I'm a college student. So I was like, what's the next best thing? I could do a pair of socks. So I did this to try to figure out how I wanted to do my heel specifically with the socks. So I did these socks top down. I did a 3x1 rib, 72 stitches on a US 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter needle. And I knit some, and then I did some knitting, and I did a simple slip stitch heel, which I really liked, and it was pretty easy to do. I have a little bit of holes on this side, but not enough that it bothers me, like my first pair of short row heel that I did, not slip stitch heel, short row heel that I did. I did the toe, and I did toe decrease. Same thing with this one. I have a pair of socks. I think I realized that the sock blocker that I have is too big, so these socks blocked big. So I think I've found my formula for my socks, but I just need to get a new sock blocker, or I just need to not use a sock blocker anymore and just lay them flat. So that was super fun. And then following that, for Christmas, I ordered myself from Canada, from Area 51 Fibers. I ordered her Advent sock set. So it came with two 50-gram skeins of sock, of her Sturdy Alien sock base. And then I also purchased a 25-gram mini to do my heel, toes, and cuffs in, which actually worked for both socks, so I'm super happy about that. I did these socks 2 at a time, toe up. I have super long feet. I have like long feet, but I guess my feet aren't like that big for a man, so I guess they're average. But yeah, I kind of got a shorter leg than I wanted. I kind of probably wanted like a leg, like, I don't know if I wanted a leg that was double, but I guess I probably just wanted a little bit more leg. I did a 2x2 rib on the top, which I think I like more than my 3x1 rib. And then I found a different slip stitch pattern, or a short row sock pattern, which is linked in my notes for these socks on my Ravelry. But I did them for one too many. I worked until 10 stitches unworked when I should have worked until 12, because the heel, when I wear them, kind of like puffs out a little bit, but it's whatever. You live and you learn. I'm still gonna wear these. Something that I found really interesting about the sock set was Area 51 Fibers gives two 50-gram skeins, but within those 50-gram skeins, I can get 2 pairs of socks. So what I did is I finished mine like 2 days before Christmas. Or I got to the cuff like 2 days before Christmas, and then I rewound my cakes and I gave them to my boss for Christmas, and she has hers cast on. So I'm super excited to be matching with her and have matching socks with my boss. So that was a really awesome thing that I did, which I really enjoyed. I'm super excited about this finished object. This is probably my favorite finished object of the year, because it literally took me all year to finish. You can probably see it up in the corner just sitting there on my dresser. But I'm gonna grab it now. Hold your breath, peoples. Oh my gosh. So, if you don't recognize this pattern, you probably might not, but this is the Marled Mania sweater by Stephen West. But you may be like, what? That's not, you didn't marl any yarn. It's like, you're right, because I did it. I coined this sweater to be my dyed mania sweater, because it is completely hand dyed. So the base yarn that I used, the base undyed yarn that I used for this sweater was again from Muse. So it is her Whippoorwill, which is her 75-25, I think it's 75-25 sock base. And then I used her Killdeer mohair, which is like a DK mohair that she has in huge bounds. She has like massive pots that are dyed up. And then, so I got some birthday suit, which is what I call her naked bases, her undyed bases. I call them her birthday suit colorways. And I knit up this sweater, and I finished it in April. And it sat in my apartment, or in my room, until December. And then I came back, and I was like, hey, I still need to dye this sweater. She's like, okay, we can come in, and we can do that. And we did that, and this is the final product. And oh my gosh, it was so fun to do. It was so fun learning about her dye process and different ways to do it. And I actually dyed another batch of yarn for a sweater, which I'm going to show you guys in a minute with my works in progress. which I'm almost done with, so I will for sure have that sweater done for my next podcast. But yeah, so this is by far my favorite finished object of 2020. It was a labor of love. It's a little bit scratchy because of the mohair, but it's so warm. It's, sorry for swearing, censorship, sorry. It's so warm, and I don't care about the itchiness because it's just so warm. And I've blocked this twice, so the mohair doesn't like come off on my shirt at all, so I can like wear anything under it, and like I can wear all black and nothing will come off of it. I think it got mohair in my mouth. Fiber. Okay, so let's put that away. And my last finished object from 2020 is right here. This is this was another test knit I did, not for Stephen West, but I did it for Natalie V on Ravelry. This pattern still hasn't been released, which I think is really odd. I thought it would have been released by now, but it hasn't been. But it is a flat worked cardigan, drop shoulder. This is the stripe motif that she includes in the pattern that I followed completely. And yeah, so I knit this out of Blue Sky Fibers, wool stock worsted. My main color was Gravel Road, which is this gray brown. My next color, the blue, was October Sky, and then I used Mossy Green, dark chocolate, and cranberry compote. So yeah, it was a super fun cardigan to knit. It's super cozy. It's super warm because it's 100% wool, and it's like, yeah, it's super nice. I knit it a little bit shorter to my cuff, and a little bit baggier. I didn't do the decreases as often as I should have, which is fine. I don't hate it, and it's super, super nice to lounge in. And yeah, so I'm gonna stay in this the rest of the podcast because it's super warm and super nice. So that is it for my finished objects of 2020. I have a lot of other stuff up on my Instagram if you guys want to check that out. Yeah. So next, I'm going on to my whips. So, like I said earlier, I had purchased the Starflake shawl pattern, and I just haven't found yarn that I want to knit it with yet, so that's just on the back burner. So then he came out with the blanket, the Starflake, and I said, yes please. And so I bought that, and then I haven't had yarn for that in a while. And then he came out with the Parallelogram blanket. Stephen West came out with the Parallelogram blanket, and I said, ooh. And then I bought yarn for that. And then I was looking at the yarn that I bought for that, and I was like, I'm really not loving two of these colors. But I loved two of the other colors. So instead, I knit the Starflake. I'm knitting the Starflake. So these were the first two colors that I picked for the Parallelogram blanket. This is knit out of Vintage DK. It's a manufactured yarn base, so I don't have the color names off the top of my head or the numbers right now. I'm very sorry. And then I had some leftover Vintage DK that I need to get more of, but Sarah is currently out of stock of it, so I'm holding on, waiting to finish the second section of this blanket, and then I'm gonna get into the Brioche, and it's gonna be super fun, and I'm gonna absolutely adore it. I'm super excited for this blanket. It's been a blast to knit. I've been knitting the garter sections without purling, which has been super fun to learn and to do. So that's something I might incorporate into something later whenever I need to do garter again. So yeah, so that's the star blanket. I probably won't have this done until like December, which is fine, because a blanket is always nice to have, just to hold on to and knit and have on you when it's cold or whatever, especially when you're knitting one. So that's that whip. My next whip are my Snuggle Socks by Max and Sear. At the moment, I have both of the socks done. I have both of the base socks done. I am now at the point of adding my lining. I've had both of these socks done for maybe a month and a half, maybe. And I hadn't found the right suri to use. So the main color, so the heel tone cuff, and the main color for the mosaic is the same Ultra Wool DK for my bubble sweater, because it was leftovers. And then the contrast color is actually a color that I used in my painting brick sweater that I test knit for Stephen West in Sarah's Sparrow DK in the colorway Honeycomb. So it's like a deep gold, but there are like blips of red. There's a blip of red right there if you can see it. I don't know if you can. It's probably being blown out. I can't see the video, so if it's being blown out, I'm sorry. So I brought this to the shop and I was like, Sarah, I need suri to go in the lining of this. What should I use? And she pointed me towards this suri. So her suri base is called egret, which is a type of bird, as usual. And this is in the colorway Crush, so it's this deep red pink. So I bought 2 skeins, and I'm holding them double. So I'm just doing both the skeins at once. And then, yeah. So that's how that's going right now. I'm not really focused on this right now, so I'll probably have this done in like 2 years. Probably not, though. I'll probably get it done eventually. That's that whip. And this whip is in my French Supply Co. canvas bag in the shawl size, I think. But they're out of business, so I can't really do much about that when it comes to trying to get more of these bags. But I'm happy I got some of the bags when I did, because they're super amazing. So my next whip it's another pair of socks. These are my Leo and Roxy anniversary socks. So Leo and Roxy is a yarn dyeing company. They're the owners of the Little Red Mitten in Canada, and I've been watching their podcast for a while, since they started, and I'm absolutely in love with them. They're so funny, and oh my gosh, they're ridiculous. And I absolutely fell in love with this sock, and I bought it in the Slush Puppy variant for my accent cuff, so that's the blue color. Again, I knit these socks 2 at a time for a while until I got past the gusset, and then I took them both off the needles because I needed them for my Advent socks, because it became December, and I said, these are the only socks I'm working on. So yeah, so as you can see, I have DPNs and I have Magic Loop. I do both. I don't really mind. I am knitting these socks both on 1s, and I have 72 stitches. So I'm really happy with the stitch count, and I really love how the ribbing feels, and it fits my foot pretty well. So I'm super happy about how these socks are turning out. So yeah, so these are chugging along. I'm just trying to catch this sock up to this one before I close my toes, before I do my toe decreases and stuff. So yeah. So yep, that. And then these socks are in my Dobby sock sack, which I bought from Area 51 Fibers as well. But this is a pine and pearl bag that I bought when I got my Advent socks. So I got my Advent sock set, I got this bag, and I got a mini skein, all because I wanted free shipping, but also because I wanted the bag, because this is gonna be my only sock bag. Unless I get a second sock bag like this, then I'll have 2 Dobby sock sacks, because then I can do more than 1 pair of socks at a time. Smart thinking. Okay. My next work in progress on my notes is a shop sample that I'm doing for Sarah. So again, like I said, I work at Sarah's Yarn Shop in Hastings, Muse 2320, and I've knit her a shawl for the shop out of her yarn, and I had asked her, I was like, hey, so do you want a sweater at all for the shop? And she said, yeah, of course. What sweater design? And I was talking to her about what sweater she wanted, and she picked the Throw Over by Andrew Mallory. I also suggested it, but we decided to do the Throw Over by Andrew Mallory. So this is what I have done so far. She wanted it knit. I'm knitting the size 3 of this pattern. It'll fit me perfectly. It also fits Sarah, so it's a win-win. But I did knit it the length that the size 3 suggests, so about 9 inches from the underseam, so it's a bit cropped. So I may end up blocking it a bit long, and I might end up wearing it a few times. So this is in Sarah's Raven base, which is a superwash merino, 100% superwash merino Aran worsted weight yarn. It's a light Aran, heavy worsted. Oh my gosh, it's so squishy, and it's fan-freaking-tastic to knit with. So the main color is Octopus Ink. So it's this variegated blue. I am doing helical knitting when I'm working with the main color. So you can probably kind of see some of the striping. This is the cast on edge on the back, so you can probably kind of see a little bit of the striping and the variance, but it's not enough to where it'll be noticeable. So the top contrast color is Mist. So this light blue is Mist. The middle one is by far my favorite color, and you'll see that why, is Kitchen Sink. So it's this variegated color that just goes in and out of pretty much any color that Sarah dyes, because it's the Kitchen Sink colorway, so it has every color that she uses pretty much. And then the third color is Mellow Yellow. So that's that. I currently have my sleeves on hold. I'm going to do them 2 at a time, but I need to get my needle ready. And yeah, the reason I don't have the sleeves on right now is because I'm working on the sleeves of another sweater that I'm going to show you next. That is almost done. So once I finish the sleeves of that sweater, I'm going to put my sleeves 2 at a time on this sweater, and then call it good. And then I'm going to knit the sleeves of the sweater real quick, give it to Sarah, and she'll have a shop sample. Boop. So, like I said, the last work in progress that I have, that I'm going to show, the last work in progress I have at the moment is yet again another sweater. I'm currently on the sleeves, and I forgot to tell you this, but I am holding my Throw Over in, again, my French Supply Co. tote bag, which says, "Bury me with yarn and needles, and I shall rest in peace." I also have a few pins on here. This pin I got from Sarah in a package that she sent me at school, and this pin I got at, I think I got this at Knitting from the Heart in Woodbury, and then I'll tell you about this pin that I got in a bit. So yeah, I really am in love with this tote bag. It's super big, and I carry this tote bag around with me at school, and it has my knitting. So I have my backpack, and then I have my knitting bag on me at all times when I'm at school. So I do knit in class. Sorry. So my last work in progress that I have right now is the Cozy Classic Raglan by Justine May Designs. And oh my god, I'm so in love with the sweater. Ugh, I can't even lie to you about that. So like I said earlier, when I hand dyed my Marled Mania sweater with Sarah, I had suggested that I really wanted to knit this sweater, and I wanted it to be like super special. So I was like, hey, could I possibly hand dye the yarn for the sweater for my Cozy Classic Raglan? And she said, yeah, of course. So I picked the color and I picked my bases. So I am using her 100% superwash merino 4-ply crane wife and her egret Surrey base to knit my Cozy Classic Raglan. So this is so the Cozy Classic Raglan, if you don't know, if you live under a knitting rock and you don't go on Ravelry, Cozy Classic Raglan is a fingering plus lace weight, usually mohair. But again, my Marled Mania is mohair and it's kind of scratchy. I have a few other things with mohair that are kind of like meh. But oh my goodness, this is so buttery smooth, and like my swatch that I knit just like exploded in softness, and oh my gosh, I'm so excited to wear this. I'm probably gonna wear this without a shirt under it because it's so soft. And I was watching Full Moon Fibers' newest podcast that they released on New Year's, and Allison is also making the Cozy Classic Raglan as her first sweater, like that she's gonna finish, and she's doing the same thing. She has a fingering and a Surrey, and oh my gosh, it's absolutely beautiful. Again, so I hand dyed this with the help of Sarah using her recipe for kitchen sink, and oh my gosh, it's so lovely. It's freaking amazing. Again, I'm doing helical knitting because it's hand dyed and I didn't want huge amounts of pulling, but like the amounts of pulling that you see are just like absolutely gorgeous. And it's, oh my god, like I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm like 5.5 decrease rounds. I doubled my increase increments so I could pretty much double the sleeve length that I needed, because I got long arms and I really want this sweater to like fit perfectly, or else I'm gonna be so unhappy and I'll never wear it. But I'm just like super. So instead of doing 4 rows between each decrease, I'm doing 8. So I'm probably gonna do 2 or 3 more 8 increment decreases. I need to take, so I do my sleeves 2 at a time. So in order to try like the sleeve length out, I'm gonna have to take one of the sleeves off my magic loop. So I'm probably gonna do that soon. I want to finish this sweater before I cast anything else on. So that's my goal for the next like 2 days, is to try to finish the sweater in 2 days. Maybe try to finish it tonight. We'll see. You'll see on Instagram when I finish it. So yeah, I'm super happy with this. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's super freaking soft. And I couldn't be happier. Okay. So that's all of my whips that I have right now. And yeah, so I'm not done yet. We still have some things to talk about. So I recently have turned 21. My birthday was the 17th of December, and I had a super fun time. I went down to La Crosse with my parents and had a drink for the first time in a bar, or not in a bar. We went to a restaurant and we sat down and I got a free drink for my birthday, so that was super awesome. I had a mojito. It was super yummy. But with my birthday came a random message from a yarn shop owner in Arizona. So Knitting Without Borders, the owner of Knitting Without Borders, Tama, I think her name is, messaged me on Instagram because I had posted on my story my Insta story that it was my birthday, and she messaged me. He was like, "Hey, it's your birthday, happy birthday. I'd love to send you some yarn." And I said, "Wait, what?" And she's like, "Yeah, go through my shop and pick 3 skeins of yarn that you want, and I will send them to you." And that's what I did. So here's the yarn that I grabbed. So the first skein that I grabbed is Red Stake Fiber, which is a hand dyer in Texas, I think Dallas. So this is their Estate DK, which is 100% superwash merino, 231 yards for 100 grams in the gilded colorway. So it's this really beautiful yellow I just like got drawn to, and oh my gosh, it's so soft. Oh, it's so soft. Okay, the next one I have is this blue. So this is Andromeda sock yarn. So this is sock yarn 75/25. Teal Me More is the colorway name. And it is 437 yards. My mom said she loves this colorway, so I'm gonna knit her a pair of socks. Don't tell her. Mom, if you're watching this, shh, you didn't hear that. I don't know if my mom will watch it. I'll probably upload it to Facebook and she'll probably watch it. And oh my gosh, this last skein of yarn is cashmere. Oh my gosh. So this dyer, Blue Fiber Co., is based in Portland, Oregon. Wow, it's right on the take, right there, Zach. Come on, you're dumb. So this is based. He's based in Portland, Oregon, and I've been following him for a while, and I've just been in love with his colorways, and just haven't had the money at the time to like purchase something from him, especially with shipping being so like risky and expansive. But so this is his cashmere sock base. It's 80% superfine superwash merino, 20% Mongolian cashmere, 437 yards for 100 grams in the colorway titanium. And I just love the pinks that are like dashed in on this. I really don't know if I want to knit with this. I think I've become one of those knitters that just wants to collect yarn. But I really do. I don't know. Maybe I'll knit myself a pair of like bougie socks. Maybe I'll knit the Coffee Talk socks by Tracy Miller in these. That would be so pretty. So many ideas. So that was like the biggest like surprise gift I got for my birthday. And then Christmas came along, and for Christmas, my boss, Sarah, gave me a bag of goodies with some candies and some treats and some tea, and she also gifted me this mini set for making a gnome. So she gifted me the gnome pun intended kit that she has in her shop. I don't remember the name of the pattern designer, but I'll put that on the screen if you guys want to look that up for me. But basically it's 2 of her 20-gram minis, and I think there's something to make his beard and like stuff him. Yeah, so this is the killdeer base that I was telling you about, so it's super fluffy. Am I a beauty guru now? it's super fluffy and like gorgeous. So I think this is supposed to be for like his beard or something, and like to stuff him. But oh my gosh, I'm so excited to knit this gnome soon. I haven't knit him before, but eventually I will knit this gnome. And then something that I really didn't expect for Christmas was the Knitting Dictionary by Kate Atherly. My older brother gifted this to me. I had it on my wish list, and I really didn't think anybody was going to get it for me, but oh my gosh, this is going to be such a fun book. Just to, like, I've already looked at most of it, and it's just so pretty, and there's just like so much information in it, and like ugh. So I'm super excited to have this in like my bookshelf on a coffee table and just like whip it out when I need it. Yeah, this is, I'm super happy with this book. And another, oh my gosh, I bought myself for my birthday PomPom Quarterly. Just this book. I could have bought myself an entire season. Maybe I should have. It's fine. But I bought the issue 35 of PomPom Quarterly, which was guest edited by Stephen West and Aimé Glier. I think that's how you say it. I should know. I took French diction, but I don't. Sorry, Dr. Schonecker. So, oh my gosh. I literally want to knit everything in this book. I already have one pattern that I have yarn for that I'm going to knit. So I'm going to be knitting the Convoy Cowl. This will be my first cast on for 2021 is my Convoy Cowl. After I cast off my Cozy Classic Raglan, let me show you the yarn that Sarah gave me for my birthday for this cowl. So, here's the cowl again. This is the Convoy Cowl by Zachary Wilder. I follow Zachary Wilder on Instagram. He is a operatic tenor and knitwear designer and knitter. And oh my gosh, I'm in love with him. And also, the amount of vocal artists that knit and design knitwear and just are freaking amazing. This man, I'm in love with this man. This man is my inspiration. I absolutely adore Justin Kim. He is an operatic tenor. He's an operatic countertenor, which is something that I'm in love with and I super adore. So, I love him, and I wish he wasn't married. But for the Convoy Cowl, Sarah gave me the option to pick skeins of yarn for it for my birthday. And these are the ones I picked. It's pretty similar to the original patterns. The original pattern is knit in sport, but the kits that La Bien-Aimée, the yarn store provides, the original colorway, the original set that they sell is on their fingering weight base. So I'm just gonna knit it in fingering weight, and I'll be fine. I knit pretty tight anyway, so I think I'll be fine. So this is Crane Wife. I believe this is Crane Wife, and the this is just bare birthday suit. And then my other color, my darker color, is cast iron on her Starling base, which has some stellina in it, and I'm super excited. I'm gonna be so in love with this. It's a double knit cowl, so this will be something new for me. So I'm super excited to try it out. Yeah. And then okay, so that's all of like my birthday and Christmas gift stuff. I want to get into some of my goals for 2021 with you guys and just put them out in the universe. So my first goal is mainly for this podcast, and it's to post at least once a month and have a decent amount of progress and be fairly confident with how I post. And then my next goal is actually to write my own pattern. Just something simple, not something too complicated. And maybe just have it be a free pattern just to get my foot in the water of pattern writing and publishing and all that stuff. My next goal is to get a start on knitting a sock drawer, because I think that's just something I really find the niche of, is I like having the mindless knit of knitted socks and maybe having a few specialty socks that are like textured and stuff. And then my biggest goal is to knit my entire family. That is 6 adults, 1 child who's a toddler, and a dog. I'm not knitting my cat a sweater. I will not do that to her. I will do it to my brother's dog, though. All sweaters for Christmas. But here's the thing. I'm knitting the same sweater for everybody, except my dog and the child. I'm knitting everybody the Mrs. Weasley's Christmas sweater from the Magical Book of Knitting, the Knitting Magic book. That's Harry Potter inspired, that I bought myself. So I'm going to be using the charts from that for the letters for everybody's names, and everybody's going to have a different color sweater. It's going to be not inexpensive yarn that can be washed. And hopefully will last my family a decent amount of time. But yeah, I'm super excited to take on that adventure. Again, I knit like 6 or 7 sweaters this year, or last year in 2020, so I think I should be able to do it. But I have a few other sweaters that I want to knit for myself, as well as along with these 8 sweaters that I want to knit. So we'll see how far I get. I'm going to start by doing my sweater for myself so I can figure out the pattern. I can figure out the intarsia. My intarsia doesn't have to be perfect. I want everybody else's to be better than mine. Just because I want them to have something that I make for them, because it's something special. Yeah, so that's it for like my goals for 2020. And I kind of want to get into doing some more yarn dyeing as well with my boss, if she'll let me. I have a few ideas for colorways in my head, but we can talk about that later, sir, if you want. And yeah, maybe I'll start my own like bag business if my mom teaches me how to sew again, because it's been a while since I've sewn, since like 7th grade. So, and I really want some knitting bags, and I think it'd be really fun to make my own. But we'll see what happens. So I'm quickly gonna do a little a cast on wish list for 2020, with yarns that I want to knit them in, or yarns that I'm going to be knitting them in, because I either have the yarn or I have them ordered. But like you just saw, I really want to knit the convoy cowl, and I'm going to be casting that on in the next few days. You'll see that on Instagram for sure. The next thing is pretty big. It's a sweater that's not a Weasley sweater. It's a bulky sweater. It's The Rug by Juko Okamoto. So it's a free pattern on Ravelry. So I guess I kind of want to start a knit along if people want to knit this bulky weight sweater with me. I probably won't have a Ravelry thread or anything for it. You can probably just tag me on Instagram if you decide to knit this sweater with me, but it's a free pattern. It's bulky weight. I will be knitting it out of Wool Addicts Air in the colorway numbers 26 and 36. So it's like a light gray, brown, and a deep blue color. So I'm super excited to be doing that. I mean, if you guys want to knit with me, you can come along and do it. There won't be any incentive to do it. Sorry, I'm just some small college boy that's trying to express himself in some way. So I'm going to be casting that on probably pretty soon, if I get the yarn soon, to be honest, because I really love to wear that. It seems like a really cozy sweater, and a designer that I follow posted it, and I said, ooh, I want to knit that. So I'm going to be knitting that soon. The next thing I really want to cast on is The Best Beret by James Watts. I want to knit on that in Brooklyn Tweed Shelter. I'm not sure what color I want to knit it in. I don't know if I want to... I know I want to knit I want to knit that for a friend who loves berets. So I might, like, talk to her and be like, hey, so what kind of color would you want a hat to be if I made you one? But not tell her it's a beret. So, we'll see. But I also want to make one for myself because berets are cool. My next cast on is, I'm going to be casting on these mittens again. Like I said earlier, I'm casting a pair on for my mother's girlfriend. I am using Vintage DK, but it is a worsted pattern, so I'm holding a lace weight mohair with it, so it's going to be super fuzzy and warm, and I'm super excited to knit that pattern up again. And of course, I have the crazy journey of knitting my entire family sweaters. So yeah, that's really all I have to do. I really don't know how long this video has been. I may or may not edit some of it out. Probably not, because I'm lazy. And yeah. Wow. I can't believe I'm done with this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you really want to see more of me. Follow me on Instagram. Add me as a friend on Ravelry. I could always use more friends on Ravelry. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, or whenever you decide you are going to be watching this. Yeah, don't show hate to anybody. You never know what is going on in their life. So, have fun, everybody. Happy knitting.